Well, first, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are. Thank you very much for your time and for joining us here in this panel today. I have the pleasure and the happiness to moderate this panel. As many of you know, my name is Luís Kimaid. I'm the Executive Director of Bússola Tech, a global think tank that promotes discussions and research about parliamentary modernization. I have the pleasure of being here today with friends and colleagues working on this domain. The topic today will be about the digitalization of the Hansard. How can we use digital tools and artificial intelligence, but beyond the automatic transcriptions ranging to speaker identification, topic identification, how to use the content to interact with citizens. So our idea here today is to extrapolate on these ideas and brainstorm what's the next step. And today I have the pleasure to welcome my dear friend Ahto. He is the Administrative Director at the Parliament of Estonia. Brahma Mishra, the CEO of MeetMonk. Juliana and Baldoni, she's the Hansard Director at the Câmara dos Deputados of Brazil, the Chamber of Deputies here in Brazil. Lynne Frappier, the Head of Parliamentary Publications at House of Commons in Canada. And Roberto Eberhardt, the CIO of the Ontario Legislative Assembly. Before we start, I'd like to yield the floor very quickly for 30 seconds or 1 minute for each one of you to introduce yourself, to say about your work and what you do in your parliament. And then we can start our discussion. If you allow me, I'll do this alphabetically. Ahto, would you like to introduce yourself for the colleagues that don't know you yet?
So, as you say, my name is Ahto and I'm Administrator Director of the Chancellor of Riigikogu. So, and thank you for the opportunity to participate this kind of event and share our experience of modernization of Hansard and with the audience. So, and we are using now 5 years automated Hansard so far. So, I can probably say that we are very pleased of that. So, I hope what we are sharing with all can make some useful for someone. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ahto. Allow me now to invite Brahma. Brahma, would you like to introduce yourself for the colleagues as well?
Sure. Thank you, Luís. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Brahma Mishra. I'm the founder and CEO of MeetMonk. We are a niche AI technology company working with India and other parliaments to bring their Hansard functions, the transcript, complete automation of it, and simultaneous interpretation in the process as well for their on the parliamentary floor, and other such focused meetings in which multilingual presentations happen, and we do the automatic translation, enabling the easier distribution of the content. It's completely automatic. I look forward to doing a small presentation on that today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Brahma. Allow me to invite Juliana. Juliana, would you like to introduce yourself for the colleagues as well?
Good morning. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Firstly, I'd like to emphasize that English is not my native language, so I apologize in advance for any inaccuracies in my speech. My name is Juliana Figueiredo. I'm the Hansard Director in Chamber of Deputies of Brazil. I lead the team of official report in this parliament, about 100 people that work with the official report, the final reading, and summarization, indexing of parliamentary speeches.
Thank you very much, Juliana. I'd like to invite Lynne. Lynne, would you like to introduce yourself for the colleagues as well?
Hi, my name is Lynne Frappier. I am the Head of Parliamentary Publications at the House of Commons. I've recently replaced Bruce Young, who was here for 21 years, and he did a lot of the development of where we are today. I manage from event capture until publishing of both House debates and committee evidence, as well as committee reports. I manage about a team of 190 employees. And so we are just, I would say, at the beginning phases of using AI technology to support the work that we do. And so we're figuring out the bugs.
Thank you very much, Lynne, for your introduction. Roberto, would you like to introduce yourself for the colleagues as well?
Of course. Well, thank you. And thank you for allowing me to participate on this panel. And good morning and good afternoon to everybody. My name is Roberto Eberhardt. I am the Chief Information and Technology Officer here at the Ontario Legislative Assembly. My team looks after basically everything related to technology. And although the Hansard group doesn't report directly into IT, we have been, especially in the last year or so, working very close to them because we see that's one of the areas where the implementation of tools like AI can have a tremendous impact. So about half of the projects that we're currently ongoing, they relate to and work with the Hansard group, right? So happy to be here and share our experiences.
Thank you very much, Roberto, for your introduction as well. Well, colleagues, I propose for our panel today that we start with a very brief presentation on their current state of modernization in their Hansard department, their recent developments, their technologies being used. In the case of Lynne, Roberto, and Brahma, given your expertise, in addition to these updates, if you could also share the additional challenges and skills required for a bilingual environment, that will be fantastic. So I have the pleasure to start with you, Lynne. If you want to make your presentation at the time of 5 minutes, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So as I said, I am the new head of Parliamentary Publications. When I joined in January, we were about 6 months into using voice recognition, ASR. And unfortunately, when I also started, the House of Commons decided to prorogue and then go into an election. So we had about 6 months of no production. What we have found, and I like to call this our transition phase, I think many of you know that here at the House of Commons, not only are we bilingual, but we use a system called PRISM, which from the moment that the order of the day, the notice paper is issued until the publishing of the index and publishing of Hansard, everything falls through one system. And so it is used by people, but everything is automated, so it follows a workflow really easily and everyone knows what their step is. So with us, we had to figure out a way to use artificial intelligence, voice recognition, in a way that works with our own software. And so when we were figuring out what technology to go with, that was a major component of what we had to take into consideration. So we decided to go with Whisper AI, which I know is something that's being used around the world, specifically in the UK. It's very popular. So we use Whisper AI because it can clearly and reliably identify both languages for us, English and French. And so when our users, our trans editors, get their take, not only are they seeing who's been identified as the speaker and the language that they're spoken, but they also will get the transcript, the voice recognition already inputted in the language of choice. The issue is that we have bilingual speakers. And so if a member of parliament has previously been identified as an English speaker, but chooses to speak in French, the little lag between us being able to identify the correct language for that speaker will often result in the take appearing for the trans editor in the wrong language because it's reverted to the original language. So we were seeing a lot of translation of text, which is not what we wanted, which also means that the voice recognition software is not useful for the user. So then they would have to click it out and then transcribe. And what we're trying to move away from is the typing and the transcription of the text. So we've been dealing with those little bugs. The other issue is because it's integrated into Prism, any fixes that we do to Prism software, which is bigger than just Hansard, ends up often affecting the ASR, the Whisper AI. So whatever we are fixing or whatever we've identified as an issue, if we do a major fix to Prism or even a minor one, the next time we log on to Prism and we have our users use it, ASR doesn't work the way that we thought it would. So last May, we very enthusiastically told our entire trans-editing team that they could expect hallucinations to be gone, translations to be gone, some like unnecessary dots to be gone, that kind of thing. And then with a fix in Prism, what we started seeing was repetitive text. So sentences being repeated line after line, or lack of punctuation, which we weren't really having before. So it seems that one fix that we make to Whisper AI to work properly for the specific team, when we do a bigger fix that helps the bigger administration team, can have an impact on us. So we're trying to figure out if we really should still be working in Prism, or if we're going to take this opportunity to move completely out of a software that we've been using for 25 years and take ourselves out of that system and really focus on how Whisper AI could work properly for us, because based on our discussions with our colleagues in Canada, Whisper AI is working much better for them when it's integrated specifically just into a Word document. But that would have the bigger implication of how do we change what our employees are doing, the workflow. Everything is quite automated right now. So how are we going to have to change the way that we train people? Are we changing our expectations of their tasks, which becomes a much bigger issue, as opposed to simply saying, here's a new tool and please use it. So those are some of the things that we are finding. We really are in the beginning stage of AI for Hansard, and we know that we can go a lot further based on what our colleagues and other people have been able to do, but we're just kind of hitting all of these roadblocks. And once we fix one, then we kind of hit another one. So we're trying to look at the bigger picture. So that's where we're at here in Ottawa.
Thank you very much, Lynne, for your introduction presentation. That's very appreciated. Now, allow me to invite you, Juliana, to make your presentation as well.
Okay, Luís, when we talk about the current state of modernization in Hansard Department in Brazilian's House, we can think in three main points that we are developing there today. The first point is the automatic transcription. The main tool in this process, the beginning of digitalization. We officially integrated the transcription API into our system, called Scriba, 2 years ago, in May 2023. And the results, our technical evaluation are very clear now. In terms of accuracy, we conclude the average error rate was around 25%, but it's very variable depending on the context. If you have committee meetings, we have a error rate as low as 9%. If we have plenary sessions, this rate increased to 35% of error. It's a significant variation depending on the context. So raw transcription are extremely valuable as a first draft for us. Now we are working on post-processing tools, applying our style guide, and insert proper names correctly to the efficiency and velocity to gain agility for our servants. In practice, this means that we can handle complex sessions with more agility while still maintaining the accuracy, the authority of the parliamentary records speeds. The second point is the automatic summarization and the summaries of the speeds. We run a blind test with 30 staff members, public servants here, who evaluated summaries of 10 parliamentary speeches. And curiously, the AI summaries, particularly those produced by Claude 3.5 Sonnet, had a very good evaluation. It was very difficult for the servants distinguish AI summaries and summaries produced by humans. Of course, they still through professional review, but this combination of machine and human expertise giving us noticeable gains in speed and productivity. Third, we are moving toward automated indexing and top tagging to the search. Our new tool suggests relevant terms and topic automatically. Then a human indexer will validate them too. So the conclusion, we are not replacing the human expertise. We are building a workflow where AI provides the first layer of automation, and our professionals focus on review, judgment, and quality.
Thank you very much, Juliana, for the presentation. Ahto, would you like to share your presentation with us as well on how you're working with Hans?
Actually, I do not have a really presentation, and if someone wants to see what our program Hans is look like, I can give after that today different kind of presentation, and it will take also many of time. So, but I believe that Hansard plays crucial role in the ensuring parliamentary transparency, accuracy, and accountability, and it's a living memory of our democracy. The record that connects citizens to their representatives. Over the past few years, our mission has been clear to make our calls faster, to produce more reliable and more accessible, not just to members of parliament, also to the public. And I am proud to say that in the last 5 years, we have taken a remarkable step forward. So traditionally, Hansard relied entirely on manual stenography and editing. Accuracy was also our strength, but the process was slow, painstaking, and labor intensive. So every word was captured and checked manually. We have embraced the speed-to-text technology that can automatically generate a transcription within the minutes of speaking in the chamber. But here's the important part then. Technology doesn't replace the people, it empowers them. Every draft is still carefully verified and refined by our professional editors, ensuring that the final record upholds our highest standards of precision, neutrality, and trustworthiness. And impact has been profound, but once took holes, sometimes even days, now happens in a fraction of time. We have also transformed our editorial workflow. Our teams now operate in fully integrated digital environments where they can collaborate in real time, edit faster, and deliver results more efficiently than even before. For members of parliament and for the public, this means one thing: speed. Today, just 1 hour after the session ends, the first edited version of the official records is already available online as and also as an open data. That's not just faster, it's redefining accessibility. And I will highlight some of the key technologies powering this transformation. At the heart of it is AI-based assistant speech recognition. So currently we are using Kaldi, an open source toolkit based on deep neural network architectures. While no system is perfect, especially when multiple people are speaking at once or there's background noise, it provides a powerful foundation for our editors. Because our solutions are largely open source, we have the freedom to customize them precisely to our business needs, our workflows. And perhaps most impressively, we have built a highly automated end-to-end system. The moment a Riigikogu session begins, the system starts working. And when the editing is completed with a single press of button, the verified text is published online for everyone to access. To conclude, I want to stress one thing. Modernizing Hansard is not just a one-off project. It is an ongoing journey. Each step we take carefully designed to balance innovation with our duty of accuracy and impartiality. We are harnessing the power of technology, but we are doing it without ever compromising trust. By interrogating new tools and smarter workflows, we are delivering a Hansard that just is faster, it's more open and more valuable than ever before. A resource that truly serves both the institution and the citizen it represents. Our mission remains unchanged, to provide the trustworthy, accurate, and accessible record of parliamentary proceedings, a record worthy of democracy it reflects. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ahto, for sharing the incredible work you have been doing on hands. Roberto, would you like to share your thoughts and share your opening presentation as well?
Sure. Thank you, Luís. So our program is in regards to AI is relatively new. It's only we started late last year working on this project with the Hansard group, and we were kind of testing the water and kicking the tires and see how far we could push it. So we set up ourselves our fairly aggressive goal that and that was, could we create or could we produce a draft Hansard fully automated end to end, where the process would kick off like with a delay of 15 minutes after the session start, and it would end up 15 minutes after the session ends and provide that. And through that, we learn a lot. We learn about that perhaps our goals were a little bit too aggressive or too optimistic. Nevertheless, similar to Lynne, we use Whisper AI, and it's a tool that it would require several iterations and constant tweaking to learn some of the issues that we have. And depending how you look at it, so we achieve accuracy levels of about 90%, which if you look at from a strictly technical perspective, you say, oh, those are amazing. However, for Hansard standards, perhaps they were not just there, and they were perhaps small things that we couldn't overcome. And the decision at this point, although we haven't given up officially yet, and we're constantly working, is to have some sort of light editing before this is published on a draft version type of thing. So the tool it's working, is separate completely. It's a homegrown system working in conjunction with just Word and taking this the text or the spoken words and transcribing it. And we're using a combination of ChatGPT and Whisper to do that. From a I guess enhancement of performance is been significant and tangible. We achieved a 14.5% increase or reduction, I should say, in the time it takes to generate this the first Hansard document, and clearly it shifted the process to more editorial than actual recording, which is what we're trying to avoid. Also, we looked at the entire process end to end, and we're constantly doing that, challenging perhaps things that they were preconceived ideas in terms of the duration of the segments, like the audio being segmented every 5 minutes. Could we do it longer? And by doing that, reducing the stitching time between different audios and whatnot. So it is a little bit of a work in progress, but certainly what we achieved so far, it's worth already, and we anticipate that with further reductions, we can increase even further some of the savings. As far as some of the challenges, and it also serve us to identify challenges that perhaps they are not part of the tool, but help us tweak the process. For example, one thing that the tool was not doing, had difficulty with proper names, right? That introduction of visitors, right? And things like that. So we said, okay, well, why don't we link it with our security system? So everybody that comes into the building has to identify themselves, validate identities and whatnot. And so making that information available to Hansard. So the validation of what the tool understands as a name versus the actual record certainly help on that, and also speeding up the process. And again, similar to the challenges that Lynne faces at federal government, we are bilingual parliament, and members might at any time decide to stand up and speak either French or change to English, or even halfway through a sentence type of thing, right? And what the tool does, it's, you know, amazingly so, is like when it detects a change of language, it starts, the thing is like, it doesn't keep that language translate into the other language. So if it was translated into English and somebody starts speaking French, it does doing the transcription and the translation at the same time, which is something that we don't want. It does it's a very good job, but not what we want. So we're looking at ways to address that, perhaps with prompts, looking at other tools that will help us overcome that, and see. But it is a little bit of a challenge. Additionally, to make it even more complex, one of the members was allowed to speak his representing First Nation, and it's allowed to speak in his native language, Ojibwe. So adding a third language, and a language that perhaps is not as available as others. Interesting enough, the tool keeps the same behavior, so it translates to English rather or surprisingly well, but not what we want. And that also creates a little bit of problem. The generation of Hansard, it was almost one of the showstoppers, because given that although popular in Ontario, there's not a lot of translators of Ojibwe, so we cannot turn the translation as fast as we would like. So when those happen, it introduces a delay in the final document type of thing. But other than that, is, as I said, it's a work in progress, and every day it seems to behave a little bit better than it did before. So.
Thank you very much, Roberto, for your presentation as well. I'd like to invite Brahma to make his presentation, sharing how the private sector is helping parliaments. Brahma, would you like to make a presentation?
Yes, thank you, Luis. You know, some great discussion so far. We have been kind of in the forefront of this AI transcription and translation functions with you know, couple of parliaments and multiple state governments, probably 10 plus state assemblies are kind of in various stages of development with us for both you know, single language translation, monolanguage translation, and bilingual and multilingual translation, transcription, everything. I would like, if that's okay with everybody, I would like to take a couple of minutes to show our platform, what we do in real-time transcription generation. The whole goal is to have kind of end-to-end function that Roberto mentioned a little bit, and Juliana also talked about, you know, kind of end-to-end function of not only just recognizing the speech, doing the transcription, the Hansard function, but taking it all the way through editing as well. So I would like to present my screen here. I hope you are able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see that.
Okay. So this is a monolingual transcription capturing screen. I will try to read out a paragraph here and see how it captures it. Give me a second here. Let me arrange this. Okay. I've chosen English. It can be any language. Today, I'll be speaking on online gaming law. The Indian Parliament has recently passed a significant law that bans all real money online games on mobile phones and computers, with the intention of protecting people from gambling addiction and preventing individuals from losing their savings through uncontrolled online betting. This legislation follows earlier actions in which several betting apps were banned, but the new law makes the restrictions further by completely disallowing such platforms across the country. It was debated in both houses of parliament and eventually approved by a large majority of MPs, showing the strong political support for curbing the negative effects of online gaming. While the government has argued that this step is necessary to address growing social problems connected to online gambling, many companies in the gaming industry has expressed concern about the financial impact it could have on their businesses and jobs within the sector. Some app developers have clarified that existing users will still be able to withdraw any money already deposited, but they will no longer be allowed to add new funds. This move demonstrates that the government is serious about online safety and consumer protection, and it makes a major change in India's digital landscape, where entertainment and technology now need to operate within stricter legal boundaries. So this is kind of a quick, a visual presentation of how the transcripts are picked up, and that is available in many many models. And these models, these large language models have we have seen from Whisper to Google to many other platforms. We kind of boast a little bit on the accuracy because we have specifically worked on parliamentary languages, the ability to capture with zero training, meaning any user. So say 5 people are speaking in a parliamentary setup, 5 say members of parliament are speaking. It will pick up automatically diarize and recognize their voices and pick up. But more important part is what happens post facto. Once that is captured, which I just did, I think this is the one. Once it captures, the real differentiation starts here, in which it takes the whole discussion here, captures it, have the audio available, the entire discussion, summarizes it on the fly. So this is the summary of the entire discussion, and it diarizes, because this was just one speaker, me. It has just my speaker name, and that's the kind of the identification, the login that I went through. The entire transcript is captured here. And that transcript is summarized. Sometimes you need to summarize and present. Here, there's one other function is It was in English, it can be any language. Today I'll be. So are you able to hear the sound also? I need a confirmation, Luis. Okay, great. So here it makes the editing function that Roberto was explaining just a few minutes ago. It makes it so much easier. Here you hear the voice and whatever is being spoken is highlighted. So if you do see speaking on online gaming law, real money online games, the Indian Parliament has recently passed a significant law that bans all real money all on mobile phones and computers with the intention of protecting people from gambling addiction and preventing individuals from losing their savings through uncontrolled online betting. This legislation follows earlier actions in which several betting apps were banned, but the new law makes the restrictions for. So this kind of highlighting makes it so much easier. You know exactly what you're hearing. And if you think that there is a little bit of mistake here, you can click on edit and this comes up. You can make any changes you want to make. And I'm just, just going to pretend that I typed something here. Once you confirm the edit, it goes in. So that makes it so much easier. You don't have to copy paste to a Word document, to a Notepad or any other tool. You can do directly here. And, you see, you hear, you see, and you make the edits. Once you make the edits, they're reflected here. I'm going to delete this and reflected here, and that will be part of your permanent record. Once it automatically saves and everything is there. One more function is once you complete doing these edits, and again, I just want to emphasize that you can hear, sentence by sentence, you make the edits. The summary also changes on the fly if there is a material impact to the summary. If not, this summary is kind of, saved. Once you do the edits and make sure this is ready, you select a language. Should you choose to, distribute this information in multiple languages, there are, probably 110 languages available. You can choose any language that you want your citizens to be able to read, to access, and choose the language here and say, and click on it, say Turkish, Russian, Indonesian, French, German, Dutch, any language, and say download. It downloads within a second. And you can then disseminate this among your constituents. So we have done this and we have seen what would have taken days to kind of finalize and distribute now takes literally minutes. Large, say 45 minutes, 50 minutes discussions, people can edit the Hansard people can edit in matter of 10 minutes because they have the audio. They don't have to do a shorthand note. Everything is available. That can be kind of finalized. The draft can be finalized and distributed. And what I showed today, in the interest of time, is just a monolingual kind of functioning of the entire Hansard function. The same thing we already have implemented in up to 15 languages. People speaking 15 languages on parliament floors or committee meetings or any other discussion forums. All these can be diarized, identifying the speakers, can be entirely transcripted, translated on the fly. The summary can be generated and downloaded, edited, and distributed. All these functions built into one platform. So that's the power of AI. I just wanted to show a brief kind of a glimpse of what we have done. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Brahma, for showing us your platform, for sharing how it works on the go. It was much appreciated. Now I have a few questions here. I see many colleagues here sending comments in the chat. It's my pleasure to greet Muralitas from Sri Lanka, the Parliament of Sri Lanka, my friend Omar from the Congress of Peru. We have a colleague from British Columbia in Canada proposing a few questions. Maybe we start with the second one from Dan within the proposed question that I made for the colleagues. And I will ask Lynne to start answering. And Lynne, for the benefit of time, maybe if you could answer in 3 minutes.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, just the question would be, considering the scenario where accurate transcription with human oversight is effectively implemented, how can Hansard evolve further beyond the transcriptions, such as the colleague said, identifying the speakers, but amongst other things, such as classifying what kinds of intervention, if it's a leadership speech, if it's a vote, if it's a PMQ, it's a point of order, etc. Even tagging the topics that have been discussed. And in your view, what challenges and benefits do you anticipate? And are there other enhancements you would recommend in addition to those that we mentioned?
So I'll say that at the House of Commons, because we use Prism and because it was made in-house, those are things that we already needed in 2004. So that was something that was already developed. So when the audio gets to my team, to the trans editing team, the first step in that workflow, it's already been identified as who the speaker is, what language they're speaking in. In debates, they are in the chamber, they are able to identify where they are in the day so that we can follow procedure without having to do too much manual manipulation. The idea was to make it as automated as possible so that there's less user error. In where we would look in the future if we decide that we're going to move away from Prism and we're going to develop something else. Something that would be interesting for my team would be committees. Although we still get the language and the speaker and the language identified, things that we're missing, for example, if we have a clause by clause committee sitting, none of that is pre-formatted or already identified. That would be helpful because there's more user error in those instances. And because you have multiple, say you have 20 trans editors working on one committee at once, you would have 20 different approaches to how that would be done in a 2-hour session. And so that would leave more work for the editors to have to try and manually fix. So if we were able to have more of that automated, that would be helpful. One of the things that Dan did ask in his was avoid over-trusting the speech recognition. I will say that that was very clearly and quickly identified with our French speakers because French spoken is very different than French written. And so we aren't able on the French side to rely on the voice recognition software to provide us with the accurate text. We often will tell them to switch it off or delete it all and transcribe what they're hearing because they are doing more editing work as they're typing what is spoken in French so that it is read correctly. And then in English, because specifically in debates, there's so much procedure and form that's followed, then that's where we ask them to critically think about what it is that they're reading so that they can ensure that the form is inputted properly. Is there a lot? There's a long way that we can go with using AI technology to support our teams in doing the work, but a lot of it also has to be we have to be able to inform our team as to what the expectations are of how they use it. And I think that's where we have a bit of a gap. I think some people understand how it's supposed to be used and other people do not trust it at all. And so we're facing delays in the entire workflow because of that.
Thank you very much, Lynne, for your comments. Juliana, would you like to comment on the same question? Juliana, I think you're on mute.
Can you hear me? This is a good question, Luís, because here we can bring some definitions about what we already do and what we're starting to do. When we talk about the future of Hansard, we are moving beyond transcription, beyond the classification, beyond the identifying speakers, with or without the AI, with the machine or using human resource. We already do this service. We have always classified and identified the speakers. In this house, the systems are integrated, So we receive the data from the General Secretary, the committees. In fact, the best question for us would be, where are we not yet active? We call this next step the Intelligent Record Project. The idea is simple. Hansard should not just be a passive file of words spoken in Parliament. We can structurally analyze the records and provide insight, context, and transparency. This modernization here is unfolding in two stages. The first one focuses on strengthening our core services. In other words, to do the basics well, organize the data, publishing individual speeches from both plenary and committee sessions almost in real time, complete with video, audio, and even automated summaries in real time too. It also means supporting journalism so that our internal news agency has access to readable transcripts of high interest meetings almost immediately, replacing preliminary drafts with authoritative records. But the real innovation is in the second stage, where artificial intelligence is applied to the entire corpus of parliamentary debates. With human verified transcription as our baseline, we can start to structure the record as a queryable knowledge base. It's the future. One example is the administrative reform of public service in Brazil that's being debated in chamber now. We did a pilot in order to identify narratives, arguments, and lexical fields in a work post transcription. The benefits are transformative. Hansard evolves from being a static transcript into an analytical tool. For us, it's the future, and this thing about the classification, identify, is already due. We already do these things. It offers intelligence for parliamentary leaders, transparency for the public, and a rich data set for academic.
Thank you very much, Juliana, for your comments as well on this question. Ahto, would you like to share your thoughts on the same question?
Yes, shortly. So our current system identifies members of the Riigikogu and several high-ranking officials who participate more frequently in the Riigikogu session. For members of the Riigikogu, the system automatically has a link to their personal card, so where you can find additional information about them. So from the personal card, you can quickly find a lot of additional information, including the latest speeches, bill leads, and votes that haven't taken place. It is possible to add various additional information to the transcript to help you understand the session more clearly. We will also include links to voting results, additionally video links, and for agenda items, which is created automatically and added to the transcript, which takes you to the correct video and correct time and YouTube where it's stored our videos. And also the AI can classify everything which is mentioned in speech. And I think it's also necessary to check whether each text passage or slice of speech needs to be classified at all, and what it's are, so that it doesn't happen that there is more additional information to be added that actual information itself it is. What we are working a lot of these days and looking for solution to is how to summarize a longer text in a way that would make a reasonable summary of the session. This is a challenge for us right now because every AI model is working and thinking more in English. So, and if we are speaking about Estonian language, which is quite minor language in the world. So everything goes through the translation. So, and if you know about translation, then something sometimes, not sometimes, but it's usually something get lost. There is, of course, this different kind of challenges as well. One is the technical accuracy, while tagging and classification can be automated with AI, so ensuring neutrality and some other issues. Beyond this, I would also recommend exploring the real-time features such as near live and live transcripts that update continuously during debate. We are using same technology for creating live subtitles in our plenary broadcasts. I think also another possible venue is linking Hansard with other parliamentary data sources, including bills, amendments, and voting to create fully interconnected digital parliamentary archive. In summary, I think that accuracy transcription is in place, and Hansard can involve the being primarily and record of to becoming an intelligent, structured, and connected resource. So while challenges exist, I think the benefits in terms and usability, transparency, and democratic engagements are very, very substantial. So thank you.
Thank you, Ahto, for your comments. Roberto, would you like to share your thoughts on the same question?
Yes, thank you, Luis. Yeah, to answer this question, I would like to talk about a project that we just embarked, and we're in the blueprint stage of it, type of thing. So it's perhaps, again, idealistic on what we want, but we call it interactive Hansard. The idea is to, how can we enrich the traditional Hansard document to make it more palatable to audiences that perhaps they're not familiar to the process, they're not familiar to the who is talking and members and things like that. And using AI, embed those attributes that allows us just to connect to different media. So the person consuming this information, they can consume it in any way they want, right? So some of the major ones that we're looking at is like, well, the first one is the video integration, right? So the ability to, at any point on Hansard, basically click on that, and it takes you to the video portion of that statement or that presentation by the member, and allow them to basically either read it or consume it on the video format. Similar, and I think that Ahto was mentioned something like that, linked to the MPP or the member profile card, right? So for those that might not be familiar, so you put a picture, you put some of the history in terms of what bills are produced, and information about their particular writings, which might give you background on some of those on the presentations that they are doing, linking to any other document that is mentioned through, like if they are mentioned other bills, others reports, other committee reports, House business, etc. Just provide a link to the document so somebody can easily go back and refer to that, make it searchable through social media, producing the ability to collapse or enhance, and also provide summaries of some of the main topics, again, for those that perhaps are looking just for the main highlights of the project, on top of clearly speaker recognition, topic tagging, voting summaries and whatnot. So all in all, is a project that to take the traditional Hansard and understand what are the tags or the metadata that has to be embedded in order to enrich this document for public consumption.
Thank you very much, Roberto, for your comments. To conclude this question, Brahma, would you like to share your thoughts on this question as well?
Sure. Sorry, I was responding to a few chat questions. Yes, absolutely. I think AI is just getting started. We have seen capabilities, and we are working on the kind of future-proofing a few things, kind of, rather planning for the future of how this can really aid the human busy work, to take out the human busy work, never to replace humans. Humans cannot be replaced, but it will enhance their efficiencies, reduce their workload, and make it more, faster and more accurate. To make their work output more, faster and accurate. So what we have done is for example, recognizing the speakers. We have achieved the ability to recognize the speakers from a very small bit of their voice signature. So there was a question a couple of minutes ago about diarization. We do diarizations in 3 or 4 different ways. One is when you log in from a laptop in a discussion, or you are at a certain table that identifies you as a member of parliament sitting on that location. If those things are not available, direct voice recognition enables us to recognize the person. So that kind of down the stream helps us in tagging. For example, the Prime Minister is speaking, or the Defense Minister is speaking, or Secretary of State is speaking. So it will automatically recognize who is speaking, on what subject they are speaking on, and classify the discussion in that way. We have advanced algorithm to understand the discussion, like the way you saw summarization. It uses such algorithms to classify a particular discussion. Again, after all these classifications and recognitions done, it goes for manual vetting. So you know for sure that what the AI has classified is correct. So that serves 2 purposes. One, what goes out to the public as a permanent record for people to see is vetted correct. There is no scope of error. It makes it faster because AI does the heavy lifting, and then manual intervention makes it better. But it also, there's a feedback loop into the AI. AI understands and corrects itself in a way that, if there is a wrong recognition, wrong understanding of the context, wrong understanding of, the way it interprets something, those are corrected. So AI also keeps improving. So what I see is the joining of hands from both AI and human intelligence makes it better every day. And I think the efficiency is only going to improve with this kind of collaboration, from AI and human vetting and publishing the actual results.
Thank you very much, Brahma, for your comments. On my second question, I'd like to bring that to Roberto and for the colleagues to comment. And I'll draw from what Juliana said about the authority of the Hansard transcripts. And historically, these transcripts have been primarily used for procedural purposes, with limited use by the general public, for example, the citizens. However, with faster availability of the transcripts and emerging AI-driven generative AI grounded with specific data sets, like, for example, with RAG, retrieval augmented generation, there is now the possibility for the MPs, for parliamentary staff, and citizens to interact directly with the Hansard content, even asking questions and exploring the debates in a conversational manner. So, Roberto, starting with you, how do you envision this transformation, and what considerations would you highlight on this topic?
Sure, thanks, Luís. Actually, we are working on a particular proof of concept on the what we call the Hansard search, and how people interact with these records after the fact, both current and historical ones. And what we find in the past, we have a traditional solar-based system, which was basically a keyword search indexing that particular paragraphs. So as you can imagine, for all practical purposes, it wasn't really useful for the average citizen, because you would be overwhelmed by small paragraph just with that particular word. Only researchers, librarians that can basically navigate that and have the context of those conversations could make sense out of this type of thing. So now we started looking in what we call a semantic search, one that it would use natural language and AI to do exactly what you just mentioned, Luis, was the ability to either inquire Hansard with just with natural language and that certainly opened up a larger audience. So the things that we learn as we go through, we thought it was important to expand the granularity of the search, right? Not just searching and finding the actual paragraph with that, but basically give you a summary of that, a summary answer to your question, but also pointed you to the actual full speaker term and that providing context if the person wanted to know how would that said or produce that. Also, it was still interesting to provide a hybrid search that would combine the keyword search with the vector search using OpenAI embeddings. Because and other metadata like speakers and sessions and whatnot, because Hansard is such a I guess document that it's interesting because in the same document you might find conflicting opinions, right? So if you ask what's happening about a particular, well, you might have the good view of it and perhaps a little bit more a negative type of thing, and which one you provide. So we had to basically adjust and help rank those answers to be able to that can be done in a certain way. So users can perform both the traditional keyword search, but the advanced natural language and both at once. Also, it was important to quickly we realized that we need to put attributes that allows you to narrow down your answers, because if you said, well, what is the government doing on a particular topic or whatever, well, it'll look historically and it'll tell you perhaps governments that they are no longer in power, what they did about that. So you also had to basically say, okay, well, tell me what that in a particular time set, and perhaps using some keyword search or parties and whatnot type of thing. So long story short, it is doable, and certainly the tool, I think it will serve to bring audiences that perhaps they were a little intimidated by such a formal language, but there are some challenges as well, right? This is a document, or is a library of documents that represent history, and we know that history changes over time and governments change and whatnot. So you have to have the ability to basically position the search on a timeline and a time frame where you are, and also there's a training element in terms of how you produce your queries to make sure that you get the accurate results. But certainly more useful than the exact keyword search. But what we find the best results is when we combine both the semantic search of AI on top of those attributes that allows you to filter some of those results.
Thank you very much, Roberto, for your considerations. Ahto, would you like to comment on the same question?
Yes. So now with the faster publications of transcripts and rise of the AI technology, especially RAG, we have opportunity to fundamentally change the way Hansard is accessed and understood. I envision Hansard evolving into the conversational gateway to parliamentary life instead of reading long transcripts or manually searching archives, MP stuff, and citizen could simply ask, what has Parliament debated about renewal, let's say, energy this year? or how often the Prime Minister has spoken about healthcare in the last 6 months. So the generative AI grounded in the official Hansard dataset could provide concise, accurate answers with links to the verbatim record. For members and staff, this would mean faster preparation, more evidence-based debates, and easier cross-referencing. For citizens, I think it would mean more direct engagement as they could explore parliamentary activity in a way that feels natural and accessible. We have been testing our new for in-air use AI search tool for over a year now and are continuing to improve it. We have used all our own open data, including transcripts as well as other open data sources in the country, such as adopted laws and different additional datasets to train this tool. And if you have data, you can use this data today to create new tools, maybe even to train voice recognition software to better outcome. The benefits, I think, of using AI tool here are clear. Parliamentary debates become easier to explore for those without legal or political expertise. MPs and staff save time by retrieving relevant passage instantly. So citizens can trace a AG-generated summaries back to the original transcripts, ensuring confidence in the source. Of course, such a transformation comes with important consideration. I think that the generative AI must not distort or oversimplify complex debates. Every output must remain firm and grounded in the official record. Human responsibility remains essential to safeguarding impartiality and avoid misinterpretation. So I think Hansard content is public, but the system must still meet the highest standards of the data protection, reliability, and continuity. All those, if it's possible, should be designed inclusively, ensuring that both MPs and ordinary citizens, regardless of their technical background, can benefit actually and equally. If we are looking ahead, AI could also allow us to link transcripts with legislative texts, votes, and committee reports, creating an interconnection knowledge base. Citizens could not only see what was said, but also how it shaped lawmaking. This could deepen democracy engagement and strengthen trust institutions. In our case, we have created all the links not over the transcribed and edited text, but more with the drafts. Or draft on the websites have different kind of links to the different documents, to votes, to committee meetings and transcripts. But it could easily transform to the transcripts. In short, we're moving from Hansard as a static archive to Hansard as a living, interactive resource with the precision of the official record and power of AI. We can make Parliament more open and engaging without ever compromising accuracy, neutrality, and trust. Thank you.
Thank you, Ahto. Brahma, would you like to share your thoughts on this question as well?
Absolutely. And great discussion so far. What we have been seeing is kind of the next generation of RAG evolution. At least the requests that are coming to us from the field, from several government departments. And again, I'll make a statement which is, I try not to sound any way political or anything, and without I'll have a couple of references to different foreign cities. And again, just I want to throw it out there in a disclaimer. So what is, here in the US, what we call secretary of state, in Indian context and other Asian contexts, it's the Minister of External Affairs. So when Minister of External Affairs was going to make a speech in the Indian Parliament about a certain situation, a request came to us to interpret it, to understand and interpret it in a certain way. So I'll give an example. So they were talking about two developments. One is, what is the our agency is keeping a close watch on the development in Syria. And a little bit down the line, we are also keeping a close eye on the development with Beijing. Now, exact same statements, but very different interpretation, very different undertone to it. One, development in Syria is quickly deteriorating situation in Syria, whereas development in Beijing is the progress, is the advancement of science and technology and economics and all those in Beijing's context. So same thing, regular AI would interpret development in a progress kind of interpretation, but the ability to kind of bring in the situational awareness, the current happening in world scenarios, the current happening all across the world is a location-specific current development. Those interpretations would exact same sentences just by a change of one or two words or a mention of certain location would mean two very different things. So understanding, bringing in an awareness, situational, time-sensitive awareness into the AI, which is way outside of just interpreting or linguistic interpretation of a statement, is kind of the next level of AI's evolution. So we kind of help, and this is an ever-evolving thing in which it goes way out of the natural language understanding into the current, kind of making AI aware of the it kind of doing a cognitive understanding, cognitive search, and situational and the locational awareness, bringing those all together so that the interpretation happens in different languages that are specific to the current context. Again, this is a kind of an outlier or more of an extreme case in which exact same sentences in different contexts would produce completely different outputs or completely different interpretations and understandings and representation to the public. But that's what current AI technology is able to do. And these are kind of the research and more advancement in AIs that we have been working on. And we successfully were able to bring in that RAG into this into the interpretation or transcript Hansard functions to be able to produce the output that is desired by the different agencies. I don't know if it was exactly pertinent to this discussion, but I wanted to kind of discuss the next generation of technological advancements in AI that's happening today, which not only kind of looks at it with blinds on in a specific way, but it is more situationally aware, is what I'm trying to convey here.
Thank you very much, Brahma, for your considerations on this topic. Lynne, would you like to share your thoughts on this as well?
I will say that we are definitely still in the blinders on stage of things here. What I will say that the House of Commons has spent several years making our official debates and committee evidence quite interactive for the everyday user. Our priority, though, however, is always the members of Parliament, so that they are able to clearly understand what happened in the House the day before, how their interactions were, all of that. So one of the things that we're doing, which is not so much AI, but it is a technological advance for us in our official evidence, is our responses to questions on the order paper. So what normally would happen is that our Privy Council office would send answers to the questions on the order paper, and we physically get them, and my senior editors have to edit and put them in the proper form for Hansard, which can be very time consuming. It also, we only get it in one official language. So we either, if there's not a lot of them in-house, we will translate them. Otherwise, we send them to the Translation Bureau, which means that we need more people, more hands on deck to do this translation. So one of the things that we're introducing September 15th is that it's going to be hyperlinked. So the Privy Council office will actually own a website where all of these answers are. And all that we're responsible for is now including form line that says to refer to this link, and then we insert the link. Which we're very excited about because we've been told that we're expected about 283 responses in a couple of weeks, and that would be a lot of manual labor that's not automated. And so just that one thing is going to change the way that we do things, the way that we present things to members. They have said that they're excited or that they're welcome to this change, but we're also doing our backup plan of what happens if they want any of them inputted. How do we do that? How do we flag that information so that we make sure that the information is properly shared between PCO and ourselves? So those are the next little steps that we're doing, which seems like it's not a huge win, but it's actually a huge win for my team. And I also think it's a huge win for members and the public because the information will be more readily available much faster, as opposed to if they have to go through my team, because then we follow our publishing timelines as opposed to something that could be much faster.
Thank you, Lynne, for your considerations. Juliana, would you like to share your thoughts and close this question as well?
Yes, Luís, about REG, this transformation represents a fundamental democratization of parliamentary knowledge, moving from a static to dynamic interactive interface. We envision this as a carryable Hansard, like I said, where stakeholders can engage and ask in a natural language dialogue with the entire story of parliamentary debate. In this vision, an user, be it MP or staffers or citizen, could ask complex questions like what were the main arguments against the 2025 tax reform, or show me how the debate on renewable energy has evolved in the last decade. Summarize the government's position on healthcare policy as expressed in committee this year. But in this context, our job is in the preparation, the organization of the data, not properly about the REG system processing. The tools of searching have to be good. The ways to access to the text products have to be easy for the citizen. That's our part. The system powered by REG would retrieve relevant text segments from the verified Hansard corpus and generate a coherent referenced summary. But we can see some critical points for the REG, and one of them is the primacy of the source, the quality and integrity of its underlying data. Our first priority is ensuring the absolute fidelity of the Hansard record. Another critical points are the surface level semantics because of the ambiguous intentionally of the political language, and the change of the meaning about political concepts like democracy. So the REG has to face with these sensible questions. Our job is giving a very good baseline. But like Brahma said, we are better every day.
Thank you, Juliana, for your comments. Colleagues, I have one final question, but we have a challenge. We have 11 minutes. So I'll ask for your cooperation if we can do in no more than 2 minutes, each one of you. I apologize for the rudeness of asking you to be objective on this last answer. But let's aim to see if we close our panel with this particular question. And Brahma, I'd like to start with you. Some experts, specifically on Hansard, have expressed uncertainty about the actual efficiency gains brought by the digitalization and AI integration in Hansard departments, especially regarding the speed of delivering transcriptions and producing complete enriched parliamentary records. Considering this, could you share your perspective on whether these technological advancements have led to a tangible efficiency improvement within the Hansard departments that you're familiar with? And how do you envision the future of this integration between technology and human expertise?
Sure, Luis, and it's a very, very valid question, given that the current trend is AI. Everybody is talking about AI, what kind of transformative change it can bring in to the lives of Hansard and other functions. But is it actually worth it? The kind of investment being made in terms of AI progress, the research and huge amount of money that's being pumped in, is it justified? What I have seen, and again, keeping it very objective, and just because you asked about the results, I have seen results from various implementations in various parliaments, from various platforms. What I've seen is that, be it, when I say various platforms, be it OpenAI, Google Translate in various forms, or anything that we have done, again, just as a generic standard improvement in efficiency, I have seen the efficiency improved in leaps and bounds. So I have seen what would have taken probably a little over a month to get a discussion, a specific debate, a very involved and data intensive discussion that needed to be translated, vetted, we made sure that everything is perfect, and then published to the general public. It would, before AI, take upwards of 3 to 4 weeks. Now that's happening in 24 hours of less of time, just because it has taken away the busy work, the busy manual work of people, so that the 90% or so correct result is in front of them. All they need is to update, verify, and make sure everything is perfect. So when it comes to increase in efficiency, increase in speed, and keeping the accuracy and the authenticity of the information correct and up to date, AI has been doing a fantastic job. That's my take. People might have experienced differently, but what I have seen is things have improved in leaps and bounds.
Thank you very much, Brahma. Roberto, in 2 minutes, would you like to share your thoughts on this matter as well?
Absolutely, 2 minutes or less. So here we go. So when we embarked on this, we were clear that we weren't bringing technology just to say we're using AI. It had to be tangible gains, repeatable and attainable, right? So we've been measuring our progress very closely. Today, we can say we achieved, as I said earlier, 14.5% faster, and this is in terms of effort. We understand that there's room still to grow. We're aiming to achieve 20% with some process changes and whatnot. Just in summary, so before this, with the let's call it manual process, for 1 hour of House proceeding, we needed 15.5 hours of effort, other people transcribing, translating, and whatnot. And the tool has reduced that in 2.5 hours, so from 15 to 13 for every hours of the House. So if we do the math, we're talking about 15, 16 hours of effort per session. However, I just want to quote, so people, this is not about reducing staff or cutting people, but because we find that there's going to be a need for perhaps a shift in things they do. More effort will be needed to put it in tagging, indexing, and things like that, preparing that document for AI consumption further on. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Roberto. Lynne, would you like to share your thoughts on this question as well?
We have not saved time. Our proof of concept demonstrated we were supposed to save about 30%. We were supposed to gain about 30% efficiencies. We have not seen that as of yet. Do I think that we can get there? Yes, but I think that we have some challenges. The most important challenge actually is not technology itself, but it's ensuring that employees feel that they are not being replaced. I think that we can say it as often as we want, that these tools are here to help support the work that they do. But if they don't believe that, and if we aren't moving in a way that makes them feel that they are secure, or that if things change, that they're part of the change, that we're still going to see inefficiencies. And so I really do believe that here at the House of Commons, we're at the beginning stage of all of this. We're still working out bugs that should help support the work that is done. But I do think that we have to rethink what our frontline trans editing team is doing, and also feel what the impact will be to our editing and senior editing side of things. So I'm hopeful for efficiencies, but we do not have them yet.
Thank you very much, Lynne, for your comments. Ahto, would you like to comment on this question as well?
Yes, I will be also quite short. It's true that there is sometimes skepticism about whether digitalization and AI really deliver measurable efficiency gains and Hansard departments. But from our perspective, however, the experience has shown both benefits and limits, and it is precisely in understanding this balance that we can see the way forward. The integration of the speech-text to technology has significantly reduced the time needed to produce first draft transcripts. But once required calls and manual transcription can now deliver in minutes. While human editing is still essential, the staff can focus their energy refining accuracy style rather than starting from scratch. This shift has already shortened delivery times. Digital workflow has streamlined collaboration. So editors now work in shared environments for draft correction that proves more seamlessly, avoiding duplication and effort. And now they can also work from the home. Also, it's possible to combine with cloud-based tools, this improvement reliability and resilience. The introduction of enrichment features such as metadata tagging and cross-referencing and improved search functions means that records are not only produced faster, but are also more useful. Efficiency should not be measured only in speed, but also in the other value that the record provides to members, staff, and citizens. Let's say, I would not claim that digitization has solved everything. And also the AI models improves, they will become better and speaker identification speaker identification, classification, or intervention and thematic tagging. But human editors, I think, will still remains the guarantors of trust and quality. In this sense, technology does not replace expertise; it amplifies it. In short, efficiency is not only about producing transcripts faster; it is also about producing richer, more accessible, and more relevant records that truly serve parliaments and public. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ahto, for your comments. Juliana, would you like to share your thoughts on this question as well?
Yes, Luís. In terms of production, we achieved a 20% increase, even with 12% fewer human resources. Delivery time has also been reduced. So the future is not about AI versus Hansard experts. It's about Hansard experts with AI, and about what we work with the data and the information that we provide. We envision a future with integration lies in a clear division of labor between AI and humans, leveraging the respective strengths of technology and human expertise.